Good day, class. In the previous videos, we have introduced the different properties of the herbal medicine. Sometimes in reality or in our practice, even you choose the correct property, the correct herbs, but sometimes you will feel that the clinical effect is not that good. So what other reasons may affect the clinical effect? In this video, we are going to introduce these different aspects, and because these different aspects may affect the clinical effects, so also from these aspects, we can try to minimize the effects, the influence from these aspects. The first one, species, the production places, the collection of the herbs, the storage, the processing method, the compatibility, the dosage, the administration method, the dosage form, the decoction method, and contraindications. So we're going to discuss from these different aspects to see how these different aspects can affect the clinical effects. The species and the production place. These two are actually in two different categories. The species refers to the species of the herbs. Why the species is so important to the quality of the herbs? The reason is because different species may have different quality, and because we are not really familiar with the herbs. So if you use the fruits as an example, it will be much easier for us to understand. For example, if you go to supermarket, you buy the oranges several times. So not in one day, but in different weeks, several times. And then afterwards, you may realize that the taste of the orange may be different. The reason is because either the species of the orange are different, or the production place of the orange is different. So they don't grow in one area, in the same area, or they are not the same species. They are families, or they are siblings. That's why they look similar, but they are not the same species. Another reason to clarify the species is because the Chinese herbal medicine, most of the Chinese herbal medicine actually is about slightly more than 30% of the herbal medicine are not from one species. One herbal medicine made from different species. That's also another reason why we keep the Chinese name. We use the Chinese pronunciation, for instance, 泽泻. We keep the Chinese name because it made from different species. So we won't be able to use English. Also, we won't be able to use Latin, because Latin, if you use Latin, you need to write different species. So that's the reason. That's another reason why we keep the Chinese name. Apart from the species, where the herbs grows also may affect the quality. This is very similar. You see, South America is very famous for its wine, especially the red wine. But the red wine, most of them were produced in Western Cape. The reason is because of the species of the grape in Western Cape, also where they grow. So one is the species, the second is the area where they grow, can produce the good quality of the grape, which is suitable for the winemaking. If you use the same species, if you use the same grape tree you grow in Johannesburg, the taste may be different. So the quality of the wine may change. That's why for the herbs, we also need to focus on the species, the correct species, and the production area. When we talk about these two, we will introduce a new term, authentic herbs. Authentic herbs refers to an area or herbs where they grow has a long history of growing these herbs. Suitable place with good species, large quantity. So they can grow a lot with very good quality, and the, the herbs the herbs have been grown in the area for a very long time. This kind of herbs from that specific area we call it authentic herbs. For example, because China is very big, as you can see from the map here, 8 times as big as South Africa. So Fujian province here. There's one herb, 泽泻. 泽泻 you can grow in other area of China, the whole country you can grow, but 泽泻 from Fujian province has the best quality, has the large quantity, have good quality. So we call it the authentic herbs. 泽泻 is from Fujian province. Henan. So Henan, as you can see in the middle, the green province. Henan province, 地黄、牛膝、山药、菊花. These different herbs, when they grow in Henan, they have the best quality. So we also call authentic herbs in Henan province. Zhejiang province. Zhejiang is right here above Fujian. 贝母、地黄、玄参、盐湖索、杭白菊、白术、白芍、山茱萸. These 8 different herbs have the best quality from Zhejiang province. And sometimes because of the authentic herbs, sometimes we want to emphasize the area where they grow. We will add the province name in the front. So as you can see, Zhejiang province, 浙 贝母. So we add the name of the province. We add as a surname to show where these herbs come from. 泽泻. Sometimes we will write 见泽泻. We write in 3 words. 见泽泻. 见 refers to Fujian province. 泽泻 is the herb. So when you emphasize, which means you want to emphasize, you want to use the authentic herbs. Just to name a few, there are many different herbs have specific production places. So here just give you a general idea what's authentic herb. The third is the collection of the herbs. When to collect the herbs may affect the quality. But when to collect, it also depends on the parts you're going to use as the herbal medicine. For example, some plants we use the roots, some we use the flowers, some we use leaves. For the roots, we're going to collect the herbs, or we're going to harvest the herbs in winter or late summer or before spring, because at that time all the nutrition will go to the root to prepare the growth in the next year. So when you collect the herbs in winter, in late autumn, or in early spring, you will have the most effective components. The flowers, you're going to harvest the flowers when the flower blooms, before withered. When you want to collect the leaves, that's the parts you're going to use as the herbs. You're going to collect the leaves before the flower going to bloom, because at that stage the leaves must have the most nutrition. These are from the experience, but from the lab, you also can see the results. There's one herb, 赵三白. These herbs can be used for stock coughing. And these herbs you use as you're going to use the leaves and the primary branches as the herbs, as the pots you're going to use. So if you harvest in March, the effective components will contribute 2.7%, 2.75%. If you harvest in August, it only has the 1.72%. And also when you compare with the toxic components, when you harvest in March, the toxic components only 0.03%. But if you harvest in August, the toxic component occupies 0.6%. So from this table, you can see the different time to harvest different plants may have different results. So the collection of the herbal medicine, or when to collect, also very important.